say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. First of all, we would like to thank each and every one of you for creating this interaction. Every single time people of your world create this kind of communication, it creates between us a new reality in which we can someday both interact. So, because this is also your creation, you may begin by asking or discussing whatever subjects you wish. All right, now don't all talk at once. Who would like to speak? Who would like to ask something? Who would like to discuss an idea? Oh, all right then, goodbye. Well, speak up.
Okay, yeah.
I have an experience in the past that when I was dreaming at night, I was in the UFO and I was somehow operated. I had this vision in my dream.
Yes.
And I'd like to see more UFOs in the future, and I wanted to contact the universe in a more close way. And what can I do to make that happen?
All right, thank you. First of all, many of you, when you have what you call UFO dream, it is because you're actually having an experience in another dimension, on another level, and you might only remember some of that experience as a dream. Now, that isn't always the case, but many times it is so. And if you have had that kind of contact in the past, it is very likely you will have more contact in the future. We are, bit by bit, day by day, slowly creating more opportunity for contact between your world and other worlds. So many of you in the years to come will experience more contact, more sightings. In fact, there may be opportunity for many individuals to have very strong UFO sighting, as you say, sometime in the spring of your next year of 2007. It will be connected to the very large UFO sighting that occurred 10 of your years ago in your area of Arizona. That is known as the Phoenix Lights. 10 years ago, very large sighting seen by many thousands of people in your state of Arizona, and that sighting has been called the Phoenix Lights. It was a sighting of a large spaceship about 1 mile long. You can, if you wish, research it on your internet by just looking up Phoenix Lights. Now, the beings that occupied that spaceship 10 years ago are the beings that belong to the civilization that will be the first civilization to openly contact humans on Earth. And they are planning now, 10 years later, to allow humans to have another sighting of one of their large ships. So sometime, most likely, between your January and March or April month or May, you will find somewhere in your winter and spring, most likely to be the time for another large sighting. And creating these sightings, allowing your people to see their ships, is their way of getting you used to them. And eventually, humans will have open physical contact with these beings on this ship. Sometime, most likely, within what you would call the next 10 of your years. So, now, to continue to answer your question, you asked how you can get in more touch with the universe. And the most important way that you can do this is by always being in the proper vibration, the proper energy frequency, to be open to more information from the universe. And the way best To be in the proper frequency of energy is to always act as best as you can on your highest joy, your highest excitement every moment of your life. Many people on your planet have talked about the idea of acting on your passion, following your bliss, following your joy. People understand this is important, but not many people understand exactly why it is so important. It is important because when you act on your excitement, when you follow your passion, you stay in the proper energy state, the proper frequency that allows you to be most open to what the universe can give you, to what you need to be the most fullest version of the person that you are. So that feeling of joy and love and creativity and passion, that feeling is the vibration of energy that is the appropriate vibration to be most open to the universe. And that is because that frequency is the fundamental frequency of existence. It is the fundamental creative frequency. So when you are in that state, then you are in harmony with the fundamental creative frequency of existence. Are you stuck?
So, to be in harmony with the creative frequency
Of the universe,
of
yes.
the universe. Okay.
And when you are in harmony with that frequency, then everything you do works with that frequency, works with that energy. It flows. You flow with it. If you are not in that frequency, then things can be a little bit more difficult. You do not flow with it. You encounter it in different ways, a little bit more harshly.
I have something that I really like to do, and I'd like to pursue that. But sometimes I have this condition, I have this back pain. And this back pain has something to do with my ego or something, and that would make things not smoothly as I wish.
Yes. Well, this is why we say it is important to understand why you might not be in the appropriate frequency. It is important to understand why you might not be in the appropriate frequency. The only thing that keeps most of you from being in the appropriate frequency are belief systems and definitions that you have in your unconscious that might be out of phase with the proper frequency you need to be in. So it's very important to find out what definitions of yourself and life that you may have that would make it so that you are out of phase with the fundamental frequency. So anytime you are attracted to do a particular thing, anytime there is something that excites you, it will also always give you an opportunity to find out where you might have doubt or fear within the idea of doing that thing. And it is that doubt and fear that will reveal to you, if you explore it, what kind of definitions you may have that are out of phase. Does this make sense so far?
So let's say when I have this back pain, does that mean that I have some doubts or fear about the things that I'm about to do?
It might. It might. You need to explore that to find out whether it is in that sense emotionally caused or physically caused. I mean, not all physical pain is necessarily a big mystery. Sometimes you may simply have a physical condition that is causing you pain, and you need to do something to alleviate that. But if you can find no physical cause for it, then yes, it is likely that it is caused by an emotional attachment to a negative belief system. So let me ask you a question, if I may. What is it that you say excites you? And is there anything about doing the thing that excites you that causes you doubt or hesitation or fear?
When I have stress,
Yes.
I have the back
Yes,
pain.
stress. So what are you stressed about?
Okay, when I try to do something good or better.
Why does that stress you? If it is representative of your joy, why would you be stressed in doing it? What beliefs come into play when you attempt to do something you enjoy? Do you not believe that you deserve to have joy? Have you been taught to believe that having joy is a struggle? It's those kinds of questions that you need to begin to ask yourself when you discover that pursuing your joy gives you pain. Because there would be no reason to have pain or stress in following your joy if you didn't have a negative belief about following your joy. So you have to find out what that belief is and deal with it so you can let it go. So can you be more specific about why you are stressed when you are doing something you say is your joy? What is it you are stressing about? Can you be specific?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a photographer, and I love what I do, and I enjoy doing the photo shoot.
But
I guess I like to, especially when this leads to my job,
yes,
or my future assignment,
yes,
then I'd like to make myself good.
Yes.
And this might be called ego, and maybe that's why it is become a stress.
does that mean you believe you're not good enough? Are you constantly comparing yourself or measuring yourself against some better idea of yourself in a negative way?
Maybe so.
All right. It is all well and good to want to be good. That's fine. But if you compare yourself all the time and always think that you're not good enough, then always thinking you're not good enough will cause you stress. Do you think you can allow yourself to relax a bit and just enjoy doing what you say you enjoy doing? Can you allow yourself to believe that even though you will always get better, that right now you are good as you need to be for this moment? Now I will tell you a secret. Here's a paradox. You understand paradox? The only way you're actually going to get better is if you understand that right now you're perfect as you are. If you understand that what you are right now is perfect for what it is, then you can relax in a manner that will actually allow you to get better. The paradox is that if you always spend time worrying that you're not good enough, you actually get worse. Because you see, then if you stress because you think you're not good enough and you give yourself pain, then next time the pain is going to impede your ability to be good. You will create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will say, I am not good enough, so your reality will give you situations that will make you not good enough. But if you say, I know I am good right now, and I know I will get better, but I know I am good right now, your reality will allow you to feel good right now and give you opportunities to get better. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, thank you.
Does this help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. You are welcome. どういたしまして。
I have a question.
Yes, I got that much.
Good. Well, I'm married. I have a husband
All right.
who is nice, who works, makes money, bring the money home.
Yes.
And I guess in the general way, when people look at us, people think that I'll be happy.
Yes. Is there also a but here?
Yes, there is a but here.
All right.
However, I feel that I don't feel somehow satisfied or not completely full
All right.
with what I have.
All right.
And when I share that with my husband, he would say to me, oh, well, you must be happy because you have this and that and those things. But I don't feel that's true, and I sometimes have to fight with him about that, and I feel like the peace is missing from me.
All right.
And when I try to search something that I enjoy doing, maybe for me, I enjoy cooking, maybe something to eat, has something to do with the food.
All right.
But I still not found that yet.
All right.
And what I'm doing right now is to to thank what I have, to appreciate what I have.
Yes, to be grateful
Right.
is very important. To have gratitude for what you have is very important. And again, by having gratitude for what you have, it makes it easier to open up for more to come in. That's important for you. So, you feel that you are most excited about the idea of cooking, food preparation, serving, that idea having to do with food. This is what excites you? Is that what you are saying?
No.
Yes, no, maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right. Why maybe? Why is it not yes? Why is it maybe? What are you uncertain about?
It is maybe because I'm not maybe confident with myself, and maybe I'm thinking that the cooking is something for myself, for my hobby, nothing to share with other people, or maybe cooking itself is not my joy itself.
All right. Well, now, first of all, if it is something you enjoy, it might be a hobby or it might be something that you can share with other people, but you're not going to know that unless you take some action and see what happens. And also, it's not written anywhere, it's not a law that says you can only do one thing that excites you. You may do more than one thing that excites you. You may discover many things that excite you. But again, here is the secret. You will not find out whether this is just a hobby or something you can share with other people, and you will not find out if there is something else that might also excite you if you don't take some action on what you already know might excite you. You see, the universe does not give you information. The universe does not present you with opportunities that you are not putting yourself in a position to receive. So if you say, well, something is somewhat exciting to me, but you actually take no steps to move in that direction, well, then the universe says, well, then you're not really wanting more help with that. You're not really wanting to be shown where that could go because you're not willing to take any steps at all in that direction. But if you say, all right, this excites me enough for me to take some action, so I will do something that allows me to express this part of myself, then the universe will see that and will respond to that by giving you more opportunity to express yourself or by showing you more clearly what direction your excitement may actually be in. It's the physical action that makes the difference, not just the desire, because you exist in a physical reality. So if you're not willing to let the desire and the feeling and the pictures and the thoughts, if you're not willing to turn them into some kind of physical expression, you haven't completed the circuit. You haven't completed the picture, and you're not giving the universe anything to physically respond to. Make sense? All right. So if you say, all right, I'm excited by the idea of cooking, so I will decide that I am going to either cook a special meal once a week for my family and friends, or I will take a cooking class and see how far it goes, or I will enter a cooking contest and see how close I come to winning, or something that is a physical action representative of acting on your excitement. Then the universe can show you, all right, you've taken that much of a step, now here's the next step. Now here's the next step. Now here's the next step. And it will show you. But if you just sit and wonder, it can't show you anything because you're not doing anything. You can start small. You don't have to run out and buy a restaurant. But anytime something excites you, it is important to take some action. Otherwise, you will never know where it could lead. And I will guarantee this for you and guarantee this for your husband. If you follow your excitement, if you take some action on your excitement, the things that will happen if you continue to follow your excitement will always be supportive to you and any relationship that you are in. Always. The only time following your excitement would interfere with a relationship or any aspect of your life is when the people are not actually being in their proper frequency when they do it. If someone brings fear and doubt into the idea, then that will cause interference. That will cause disharmony. But if everyone understands that if you truly are acting on what you feel is true for you, then it can only enhance everything else in your life. That's the way it's designed. Everything that is natural, everything that is true to itself is automatically in harmony with everything else that is natural and true to itself. That's the way creation is designed. Everything that is natural, everything that is true to itself is automatically in harmony with everything else that's natural and true to itself. That's the way creation is designed. And here is the true reason for all relationships. The true reason for all relationships, the true reason why relationships exist, is for each person in the relationship to help the other person become their full, true, natural self. So you help him become his full natural self to follow his joy. He helps you become your full natural self to follow your joy. And by doing that for each other, the relationship is always growing in joy. But if there is fear and doubt from one to the other, or fear and doubt within the self, then that will interfere with the ability of the relationship to continue and grow in a joyful way. So yes, by all means be grateful for what you have, but also be grateful for who you are. And being grateful for who you are means you follow your truth, you follow your joy, you act on your excitement, or you're not being who you are. And if you cannot be who you are, then you cannot be grateful for who you are. And if you cannot be grateful for who you are, you cannot be grateful for what you have. And if you are not allowed to be who you actually are, then the real you is not in a relationship anyway. Does this make sense to you?
Very well. I totally understood what you said. Thank you.
Is what we said in any way scary? Or do you think you can find a way to express what you need to in a loving and creative way and be who you are? Can she express what we have said in her relationship in a loving way and allow herself to be who she is and allow her husband to understand how important that is for the relationship?
I don't think I am expressing myself in the way that you described.
But can you?
Yes, I think I
All
can.
right. Then does this help you?
Yes, very helpful.
Thank you.
I now understand why I was not feeling full, because I was trying to adjust to the other party, not to express myself in a full way. Thank you so much.
Again, the paradox is that when you are your actual true self, and when the other person in the relationship is also being allowed to be their full true self, then you actually are more capable of supporting each other and supporting the whole relationship.
I think being true to myself, in the past I thought that's being selfish, and now I know it is not to be selfish, to be true self.
Correct. There are ways, of course, of being selfish, but this isn't one of them. So thank you for your understanding. And thank you for being willing to feed your true self. Does anyone else wish to discuss an idea?
We hear about the intuition. We hear that it's very important to follow your intuition.
Yes.
And would you tell us the way, in a good way, to catch the intuition in our daily life?
Yes. It still connects to the idea of acting on your highest excitement. You see, you are all like little antennas. And when you act on your excitement, You put yourself in the proper frequency to be more sensitive to other information that has to do with you. Let me ask you a question and give you an example. Do you have a radio or a television on your planet? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Now, do you have a favorite song?
Yes.
All right. Or do you have a favorite television program?
Yes.
Well, when you want to watch that program, what channel is it on? Just pick a number.
Channel 7?
All right. So, if you want to watch your favorite program on channel 7, will you change your TV to channel 10?
No.
What will you do? You will turn it to channel 7, yes? And you know that if you tune to channel 7, at the certain time, you will get your program, yes?
Yes.
Well, intuition works the same way. When you stay in the frequency of your true self as best as you can by following your excitement, then all of the information, all the programs, all your favorite things, you will suddenly key into them. You will know them. They will come to you. You will be inspired at the right place at the right time when you need to because you're on the right channel. So when you follow your excitement more and more, when you get used to it, then it becomes like an automatic search mechanism that's always looking for exactly the right frequency of information that will serve you best. And it becomes more and more automatic, more and more natural. The more practice you get being in the right frequency, the true frequency for you, the easier it is for you to recognize what vibration is you and what vibration is not you. And then your intuition becomes like a compass needle, and it will always point correctly in the direction of the information and situations and circumstances that are more true for you and point away from the information and circumstances and situations that are not true for you. You understand this example?
Yes.
Does that help answer your question? You see, this is all really just physics. That's all it is, just energy physics. The vibration you give off is the reality you get back. Now, when you're not getting the reality experience you prefer, it's because you're giving off a vibration that is not aligned harmoniously with your true self. And if you're not giving off a vibration that is, in that sense, if you're giving off something that's not true for you, it's because you have a definition or a belief or an idea that's out of alignment with your truth, and you have to find out what that is and change it. Just as we had the example earlier of someone saying, well, I'm following my excitement, but I'm not really sure I'm good enough. Those two things are contradictory. And being in that contradictory energy will also prevent your intuition from working very well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes. But I have a question.
Yes.
So what you're saying that not just doing meditation, but do the actual action.
Yes. The meditation can help get you in the practice of understanding the proper state of being, the proper feeling you wish to have. But if you don't actually put it into action, you're not really going to allow physical reality to respond to you as strongly as it could. This is easy to prove. Do you have a coin in your pocket or some object in your pocket?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, well, can you borrow a coin? Let me know when you have a coin in your hand. Do you have a coin?
Yes,
All
he
right.
does.
Now, put the coin on the floor next to you. Have you done this?
Yes, he did.
All right, now, get comfortable in a relaxed position, sit there, go into a kind of meditative state, and meditate on picking up the coin. Don't pick it up, just meditate on picking up the coin. Now look in your hand. Is the coin in your hand?
No.
Now, reach over and physically pick up the coin. Is the coin in your hand?
Yes.
Well, now you have your answer.
Yes, I think I understood that.
Thank you. It's that simple.
Yes.
Keep it simple. Meditation, desire, feeling, imagination, these are all very good things to help get you in the proper state, to pick up the coin with your hand. You understand? All right. Thank you. Now, we are not saying that you cannot be in a place, that you cannot arrive at a state of being where you could just magically make the coin appear in your hand. But also, the idea is, do it the simplest way possible that you have the ability to do. Just pick it up. That's the simplest thing to do until finally one day maybe you might be able to just think it into your hand. But until that day, just pick the coin up. It's easier.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Anything else?
About a year and a half ago, I read your books,
Yes.
and today, a year later, I'm actually being able to meet with you, and I thank you for this opportunity.
And we thank you as well for the co-creation of this communication. Although you haven't actually met me face to face yet. This is more like we are talking on your telephone.
I have a question. I believe there is a creator who created the universe and the earth.
Yes.
Who is that person?
It is not a person. It is all that is. And all that is created everything out of itself. There is no outside. It is not separate from the creation. All that is creation. Does that make sense to you? Does that concept translate into your language?
Let me share some personal story with you.
Yes.
I don't have any memory from when I was 0 to 4 years old.
Yes.
But then after 4 years old, then I remember who that I have in this body.
Yes. That is not uncommon.
And also today I'm in the U.S. I'm from Japan, and I've been here on vacation for 40 days, and I didn't have any plans or anything that I planned in ahead.
Yes.
However, when I'm here in the States, everything goes on a flow and everything goes smooth, and
Yes.
I even feel that I found a mission that I like to share in
Oh,
this
all right. Thank you.
world.
We never plan anything either. Ever. At any time, ever. But everything does exactly what it needs to do. So very good. Congratulations.
Through this experience in this time in the U.S., I was able to feel or to channel the not the person, but this existence that I'd call Grandpa.
Yes.
And I'm glad, and he's glad, that we are able to communicate in this manner.
All right. May I ask you a question? Are you an artist?
I'm not an artist, but I enjoy painting.
But you do paint, yes?
When I feel like it, yes, I do.
Well, then, can I let you in on a little secret? That makes you an artist. You understand?
Yes.
The idea also of making a connection to that entity, if you wish to call it, will also help you express your creativity through your art if you wish to use the connection that way. It's up to you.
Yes, I think so.
All right.
This entity that I call Grandpa,
Yes.
I think I could ask him what he is, but I'd like to know your or other people's opinion about how or who he is.
Well, it's a consciousness that you've known in other lives. Someone who has been alive on your planet in other lifetimes. You understand? Someone you have met in other lives, in other bodies, and is now in spirit acting as a guide for you. And this person in their lifetimes has been an artist many times. It's not the only guide you have, but it's one of the strongest guides you have that has to do with expressing yourself through art. And in helping you to refine the idea of expressing yourself through art, the guide will also help you find more of yourself, discover more of your own true being. You understand?
Yes, I understand, but also I have a question. Why did you call me, or did you ask me if I'm an artist?
Because we received information that you are, probably from Grandpa. We were shown an image of you drawing and painting. So we understood that that image of you drawing and painting was a communication from the spirit realm that you are an artist. That that's the focus of the energy of your true self, at least for the moment.
So the entity that I call Grandpa, is this somebody that I share with other people, or only I am the only person who has that entity?
In the way that it expresses itself to you as Grandpa, that's unique for you. Even though the entity may also help other people, that entity doesn't help other people in the same way and with the same kind of personality that you perceive. That's unique for you. You see, all beings have many different aspects to themselves. And on the spirit level, in a sense, it's like you are bigger. And different aspects are in themselves like different people that you can have go do different things at the same time, even though they all come back to the same big spirit.
Okay, so you're saying the spirit is the bigger than in terms of the consciousness?
Yes. And it can create many different personalities to interact with many different people at the same time. You can have individual personalities with individual souls, but you can also have a collection of souls that sometimes on your planet is called an oversoul. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right. And then to go back to your original question, you could also then say that what you call the creator is the combination, is the oversoul of all souls in creation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does that help you then?
Okay, what you mentioned is very similar to what the grandpa said. So
Yes.
it did
I
make
know.
sense to
We're
me.
talking. I'm just repeating.
I'm so happy to meet you today, and actually I have a small present that I painted a picture,
Oh, all
and
right.
I'll give to Dario later.
All right. Well, we thank you for your gift.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bashar,
Yes.
I have a question.
Oh, all right.
I have a friend who committed suicide
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
No. Yeah, it was last year.
Yes.
And we had a fight before.
All right.
And she first she was very sick.
Yes.
And she was in the intensive care for 2 weeks.
Yes. You know that she forgives you and you know that she's doing fine.
Oh, that's what I wanted
Yes,
to
I know.
Oh, yeah.
She forgives you and she's doing fine.
Oh, she's doing fine?
Yes, of course.
She's on the another side of
Yes,
the...
of course.
Oh.
When you reach that side, sometimes there can be a little bit of confusion depending upon how you got there. But generally speaking, very rapidly for most people, they will be helped and they will be fine. And she understands a different perspective of life now and does not hold it against you that you fought. You understand?
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, I ask some different
Yes.
psychic
Yes, yes,
people
yes, yes.
about her.
Yes.
And then some people say that, oh, she's still around, and then
She
she's...
can be when she wishes to be,
Oh.
but she's not stuck, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. Some people say that she's stuck still. You know.
No.
No?
What they are picking up on is that everyone will always leave a residual energy. That never goes away. But the consciousness, the being herself, is not stuck, even though there may be an echo left behind. Do you understand? It's like that. Because nothing ever goes away. Anything that is created exists forever. So someone may pick up on the part of them that is still around, but that's not the major portion of the consciousness. That's just a leftover, a remnant, an echo. You understand?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
But sometimes I feel like she's around.
Oh, she can be around. She can focus and check in with more of herself. Yes. Of course. Any entity in spirit can do that. But it's just that she's not always around because she is busy too.
Oh, the other word.
Yes. There are things to do. People don't just hang around waiting for people. Mm-hmm. You understand? They have lives still to live in different ways. So the psychic is not wrong, just picking up on a different interpretation or a different aspect of the consciousness that is always around, but also picking up on the fact that the consciousness can be around when it wants to. It's free to come and go in that sense. So all these ideas are true. We are just giving you a fuller and more detailed explanation of how that works.
Okay.
You understand?
Hi.
Does that help you?
Yes.
All right. Anytime that you feel her in your heart, you can know she's around. And anytime you think of her and feel her in your heart, understand, whether she exactly comes around or not, she will always get the message. Always. Because it's easier on her level for her to receive your energy than many times it is for you to receive hers or be aware of it. You understand? But sometimes you can be. And the more sensitive you get to the spirit level, the more often you can feel her when she's strongly around as opposed to just around a little bit. You understand? Does that help address the question?
Yes, but I would like to say something a little bit more.
Oh, all right.
And she was in your Bashar session.
Yes.
The first time I was in session, I was with her.
All right.
And she asked about her mother.
Yes.
And Bashar said that you said that mother is around.
Yes.
And she's really happy.
Yes.
To have the red roses.
Yes.
And she was really happy at the time at the Bashar session.
Yes.
And I would like to know she's with her mother right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, those people that have been together in life will almost always gravitate toward each other in spirit. Now, again, they won't be together all the time in the same way that you're not together all the time in physical reality with your mother or your father or your brothers and sisters or your friends. But yes, especially when you cross over into spirit, all the loved ones that are in spirit will usually greet you and say, welcome home. You understand?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
But remember, even though you may be greeted by members of the family that you had this life with, when you really meet them, you understand they are more than just those people. Because the same people can have been in other lives, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your child, and you see them for who they really are, not just that they were being your mother in one particular life. You recognize them for the true recognition of who they are, the true relationship you have as spirit to spirit, even though you also recognize what roles they may have played in different lives with you. Does that help answer your question more fully?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Bashar,
Yes.
mention or which world or where do we go after this life?
Well, it's a higher vibrational plane, a higher vibrational dimension, if you wish to call it that. A higher frequency. One that is invisible to you generally as a physical person. Do you understand the concept of the visible spectrum of light? You understand that there is light that you can see and light that you cannot see. Well, it's like that. There is a type of frequency that allows you as a physical being to see it, but there are frequencies of energies that are so high in vibration that you cannot see them. The spirit level is like that. So in a sense, you don't actually go anywhere. The spirit realm is right here, but it's on a different frequency, so you don't interact. And that's why you actually can, when you're sensitive to it, be in touch with spirit, because it's not like you have to reach out to some place far away. They're right here. Everything is right here. All dimensions, all realities, all experiences, all times, all places are right here. When you operate on the same frequency, then you can interact. But when you operate on a different frequency, you don't see each other You don't interact in the same way that you do if you're on the same frequency. Again, we go back to the television analogy. You know that if you're watching television, you're watching a particular program, it doesn't mean all the other programs aren't there. You're just not tuned to it, so you don't see it. But when you want to see another program, you change the channel. What have you done when you change the channel? You changed frequency. And now the program that was invisible a moment ago is now visible to you. And the program that was visible a moment ago is now invisible to you. This is how creation is structured. Different frequencies mean different reality experiences, and usually they don't interact unless you attempt to make an interaction with them, or unless they attempt to make an interaction with you. So now, in this new time on your planet, in this new day and age, you are learning that you can change your frequency enough so that you can still be physical, but also be more sensitive to receiving information from the spirit channel as well. You are changing your definition of reality to allow yourself more opportunity to communicate with more levels of creation in your physical reality. You are writing your life to become like another TV program that contains the ability to communicate with both physical and non-physical beings. And of course, as you make that more possible in your actual physical lives, you are actually also seeing more of those kinds of ideas in your actual movies and TV programs. More the idea of spirits, more the idea of extraterrestrials are in your programs in movies and TV, because it's also what you're changing your lives to be like. And that is what these kinds of conversations and interactions are for, is so that we are together creating a new reality in which we can interact with each other instead of being so different. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Why, thank you.
Thank you. Bashar?
Yes.
I heard from now on that the Earth is going on the ascension, going toward the ascension.
You are in the process of ascension. That's just an uplifting of your frequency.
So uplifting.
Yes, uplifting, raising of your frequency is ascension.
This ascension
Yes.
is going from this current, the third dimension to fourth dimension.
Third density to fourth density. Density is a little bit different than dimension. Density is a different way of experiencing physical reality. It's still physical, but a higher, more refined vibration of physical reality. You must understand that all of you today on your planet are much higher in vibration than people on your planet were a few hundred years ago. And if someone were able, from a few hundred years ago, to look at you today, you would actually appear to be glowing with light to them, because your vibration is so much higher than theirs is 300 years ago. But you're used to it, so you don't see it. So from the perspective of someone who lived 300 years ago, many of you today are already highly ascended. But you live in that energy, and so you don't notice the difference, because you have nothing to compare it to of 300 years ago. And as you grow and explore more of yourself, you will raise your frequency even more. And all of that is the process of ascension. Does that make sense?
Okay. I'd like to know, some people say we are going through from the third to the fourth or the fifth. What is the difference between we are going to fourth or we are going to the fifth level?
Well, again, it just may depend upon their point of view in terms of how they are labeling it. But generally speaking, it is understood that you're going from third to fourth. Our civilization is going from fourth to fifth, and other civilizations are going from fifth to sixth, and so on. And with each level, there is less and less dense physicality and more open and refined spiritual energy. This is what density means. It's like going from ice to water to steam. More dense, less dense, least dense. So you are moving from ice to water. We're moving from water to steam, as an analogy. Does that help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's why it's important for you to learn how to flow like water and no longer be rigid like ice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bashar.
Yes.
I have been teaching yoga for the past couple months. I just started a couple months ago.
All right.
And I understand that my knowledge is limited.
That's all right. It will grow.
Okay, and so what I like to do is I like to be like a channeler, getting the information from the universe, like a divine source.
You can.
And through
at the
that-
same time, get it from wherever you can get it from that represents the path of least resistance. And if that sometimes means a human teacher will teach you more, accept it as another version of information from divine source coming through a person. We are saying, yes, you can get it through inspiration, but do not ever rule out or refuse to accept information from any direction, from any source, because it's all divine. Sometimes you might be walking down the street and say, all right, I would like to get divine inspiration for more information I need to teach yoga. And you could be walking down the street and suddenly you see a sign, yoga class. That might be your answer. Because maybe there is something about the process of going through the class that you need to do in order for the information to stick within you in a way it otherwise wouldn't stick if it was just sent right to your head. Sometimes the information you need will come in a very direct way, but sometimes it will come in what seems to be a less direct way, and if it does, there's a reason for that. Trust it. The point is just be open to all sources of information because it's all divine. And follow your excitement and make sure that you are not labeling something as not exciting when it actually could be. Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I had this dream just this morning before I came to the session. This is where there was a river or an ocean. There was a water there, and there was one big fish. It's almost the size of a dolphin.
All right.
And there were people on top of that fish flowing. There were many. It's not dolphin, but it's dolphin-like fish, like many of those.
Yes.
And people were on top of those each fish.
Yes.
And they were like floating. And I'd like to know what that means.
You are having an experience on another level and communicating with beings from another star system called Sirius. But you are translating it in your dream in a certain way. They don't look exactly like that, but your mind translated it that way, but you are having an actual communication with beings from Sirius because you have a strong connection there yourself.
So I guess when you said Sirius, that one thing reminded me that I have had a session through a spiritual person who was able to communicate with the outer world.
Yes.
This person said, in the world of Sirius, I was with this teacher that I was following who was very important to me.
Yes.
And maybe I have some message or information that I should be getting from this teacher.
Well, you are. You don't always know it, but you are. And a lot of the information has to do with helping you live your Earth life and exciting you with things that will actually move you forward. That's the information. If you simply follow the flow of your highest excitement, you will always receive all the information you need from anywhere else that is sending it. But you may not always know it or recognize it when you get it, because it will come in the form you need it to come in that will simply allow you to continue to act on your excitement.
So does that mean that I existed in Sirius in the previous life or before?
Yes, but it also means you do right now, because all lives are actually simultaneous. Many of the beings that you actually interact with, many of you, in other realms, in other ways, are actually another version of you in another reality, in the same way that I am the channel's future self in another reality, and the channel sitting before you is my past self on Earth. But we exist simultaneously. Many of you are interacting with other versions of yourselves in other dimensions, in other realities, in much the same way that I am also the channel in the future, and the channel is also me in the past, but we both exist simultaneously. A moment of explanation also, if I may. Some of you that are experiencing bodily reactions, such as coughing and sneezing, These are just reactions to the energy that we are giving off that you are processing. Don't worry about it. Sometimes when you encounter an energy frequency that is very different from your own, it may take a while for your body to adapt, and sometimes it may have certain kinds of physical reactions before it does. But it is also a sign that you are actually absorbing our energy frequency and attempting to match it, and in attempting to match it, you are attempting to, shall we say, get rid of things that don't belong to you anymore. Get rid of old ideas that don't belong to you anymore. And your body is reacting that you are getting rid of those things.
That's why I was coughing just now.
Yes.
So I just felt like I have to cough all of a sudden out of blue.
Yes.
So maybe it's
it's the energy
friend.
that you are attempting to adapt to absorb, and you are attempting to change yourself and expel things that no longer belong to you. Many humans will react in different ways physically when they encounter our energy. Some will have coughing fits, some will have sneezing fits, some will simply fall asleep. But they are still absorbing the energy that they need to and using it to process old definitions, old beliefs that they no longer need, that no longer work for them. Is there anything else anyone wishes to discuss in the time remaining for this communication?
Bashar.
Yes.
To me, the harmony or peace is very important.
Yes.
But then I have some issues that I have, and I'm not sure if it's good to share that with other person.
It is up to you. Whatever you are comfortable with.
So you're saying that if I don't feel comfortable, if I don't want to do this, then I shouldn't do it.
No. Not sharing. If you're not comfortable sharing is what I'm saying. Not the thing itself. If you're not comfortable sharing it with us, you don't have to.
I guess I'd like to share my love. I'd like to know that the way I express love to others, not just to a particular person, but the people around me or surroundings, am I doing an effective way to make sure that my love has been reaching to the people around me?
Well, in what way do you share love? In what way do you express love? Can you be more specific? Well, before you continue, understand that any intention you have of giving love is always sending love, whether someone else perceives it or not. But you do want to take the time to decide that the way in which you might express love is actually harmoniously aligned with your intention to express love. That the physical action of expressing love is harmoniously aligned with your intention to be loving. Everyone will always receive what they need, but you can also take the time to make sure that your expression is harmoniously aligned with your intention. Do you believe or do you feel that your expression is not aligned with your intention? Or are you afraid it might not be aligned with your intention?
It's not something I can see, but maybe for people who have some problems, then they may not see.
Well, they may not, but that's all right. You see, if you actually are loving unconditionally, it doesn't matter whether someone else sees that you are loving or not. You still love them unconditionally and let them take what they want or what they can handle. If something in your ego needs them to see that you are loving, then you are not loving unconditionally. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yay.
On this earth right now, there are wars or many conflicts happening right now, and some people are very poor, but some people are very rich, and or some cases kids lose their parents because of the war. I like to know, do you think that the soul or the person decided to have this incidents in this lifetime before they come into this?
Sometimes it is specifically chosen, many times it is not specific. Sometimes a soul will choose a specific kind of incident in which to experience an idea. But many times the soul will just be open to experiencing an idea in any way that the reality has of letting it experience it. So let us say a soul feels that in a particular life, it wants to experience the idea of loss of a loved one. So it might make an agreement to have a life with another soul who's choosing to have a short life. Now, it may not matter to the soul that wishes to experience the loss of a loved one whether their loved one dies of a disease or dies in an accident or dies in a war. So that may not necessarily have to have been specifically chosen, just that they will get to experience what they want to experience somehow. And it may not make a difference to the soul that has chosen to have a short physical life as to how they exactly die. It may or may not. So they will just attract themselves to whatever circumstance will allow them to die at a time that is appropriate for the agreement that they created between themselves. Now, of course, the soul that chose the short life is also learning something. They are also experiencing something that they chose, but it might have been necessary to do it in a specific way, or it might not have been necessary to do it in a very specific way. It depends on what it is the soul is choosing to learn. So, sometimes a soul might know before they come into the life, I am going to die at exactly 10 minutes after 12 on this particular day, and I'm going to die this way because that's what serves what I want to experience in this life. Or they may simply say, well, any time between now and then, any way you want, doesn't matter. But whatever it is, however it is that it works out, it will serve someone. There are no accidents and nothing is wasted. So whatever it is happens will serve someone's soul growth. Now, this does not mean that you have to keep on having war and keep on having disease. These are lessons in and of themselves and are also changeable things. You don't have to have those things. And sometimes choosing to die in a war might be for the purpose of then having another life in which you will be the person that makes sure there is no more war. But really, from the soul's point of view, it's all just experience. And in a sense, it's like a dream. You see, when you die and you go into spirit, it's actually like waking up from a dream. So just like you go to sleep now and you dream and then you wake up in the morning, the dream may have seemed very real, but as you understand you're now awake and you go about your life, the dream fades. You know, that's not my real life. This is my real life. And so when you die and go into spirit, well, the physical life was very real, but it fades. It's like, well, that was a dream. This is my real life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
So what you're saying is that the experiences that we have changes depending on our mission.
Yes. And you use the experience to add to your growth as a consciousness, as a soul. The only thing that is actually real is the experience. Physical reality is not really real. The experience you have in physical reality, that's real. That's what you take with you. So it's all about, what did you learn? How did you grow? You understand? How do you see yourself differently now than you did before that life? And what else now do you understand about creation that you didn't understand without that experience? Creation is all that is, God if you wish, doesn't matter what you call it. Creation is God experiencing itself in all the ways that it can, through all of the people it can be. So, you are God experiencing itself as you. You are God experiencing itself as you. You are God experiencing itself as you. I am God experiencing itself as me. Every being, everything is all that is, but experiencing itself from a different point of view. And each different point of view is what we all are. Does that make sense in your language?
Yes.
All right. There will be a brief amount of time remaining for this transmission. Is there anything else anyone wishes to discuss in the brief time remaining?
Well, I kind of have a personal question.
Oh, all right.
Thank you. Well, I met this person that I feel that very strongly about, and I feel like this person may be my soulmate.
All right.
However, he's from Japan, and he's going back to Japan, and
Yes.
I intend to live in the U.S.
Oh,
and,
all right. You can be soulmates and not live together, you know.
Well, I like to be with him physically.
All right. But do remember this before you go on. I'm not saying anything can or cannot be.
Okay.
What I'm saying, however, is that anyone at any given moment you are most strongly attracted to at that moment is your soulmate. Because you're attracted to them at that moment for a reason, even if a year from now you are not attracted to them anymore. They were still your soulmate at that moment. It's the attraction and the reason for the attraction that's important. And the reason for the attraction is not always what you think. Many of you are attracted to other people in order to go through a certain process to learn something that you need. It's not always because you have to always be with that person for the rest of your life. But that person at that moment is being your soulmate, giving you the reflection that you need at that moment to grow and become more of your true self. Now, it may work out one way or another, and we would need to explore that more to maybe see what you have set up for yourself. But all we are simply explaining to you is that soulmate doesn't always necessarily mean that it's someone you live with for the rest of your life. But it may be. It depends on what you've chosen.
I see.
So he is going to Japan, you are staying in the United States. Where do we go from here? Things could change for one or the other of you.
Okay.
He may decide that he wants to come back to the US. You may decide you want to go to Japan, or you may simply fly back and forth and be with each other as often as you possibly can. Depends.
I see.
Do you really have a preference?
Well, I'd like to be with this person in the most harmonious and prosperous way for both of us and around us.
All right. And are you following your highest excitement?
Yes, I think so. Not maybe except I feel very peaceful with this person that I never felt with anybody else before.
All right, but I mean in general in your life, not just about him. Are you following your highest excitement in life in general?
Yes, I think so.
All right. Is he?
I think he's searching for that. Yes.
All right. Well, maybe that search will bring him back to where you are. What does he like to do? What excites him?
Oh, what does he like?
Yes.
He's very interested in Mexican culture.
Well, isn't that closer to where you live?
Yes, that is true.
So if he truly followed his excitement, wouldn't that actually bring him back closer to where you live?
That's true.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. There will be but a moment remaining. It is of necessity that this transmission now shift. We will extend to each and every one of you our deep appreciation in the co-creation of this communication. Remember that every change is a total change, and that you are not the same people that began this conversation, literally. Whatever it is that you believe is true for you, be that you. That's who you are. And you are never, ever, ever alone. You have help from more places than you can imagine. And as you grow into more of yourselves, you will be able to perceive all of the different levels and all of the different beings and all of the different places that are sending you love and assistance constantly. All you have to do is be of the frequency that is most truly you, and you will begin to be more receptive to all of the vibrations that are being sent to you from others, including ourselves. Creation is infinite and eternal. And that means that someday, somewhere, somewhen, somehow, we will all meet. And we thank you for the meeting that we have had this day and in this way. Our unconditional love to you all, and we bid you a fond, exciting, and creative and active good day. How did it go? You're welcome.